Thank you so much for tuning in. As you can see, I am sporting cannabis all day, every day, pretty much. However, as you can see, I got this a while ago because it say legalized and now it's legal. So, this shirt is no longer relevant. But I'm still going to wear it because I have it and I'm not going to let it go to waste. It's still making a statement. However, let me not get off topic because I could go on and on and on about medicinal cannabis. So before we get into the story, definitely go ahead and click subscribe for me right now because I don't want you to forget. So just go ahead. It's real quick. Takes less than 5 seconds. Just go ahead and click subscribe. Go ahead and click it right now. Click it right now. A few days ago, my stomach started to hurt. I was feeling a little crampy. And every now and again, I would get sharp pains. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Delilah's on her way. So I usually try and get ready for Delilah as much as I can because I just don't like her. And she comes unexpectedly sometimes, and sometimes I'm not prepared for her. But I felt like she was on her way to town. For the most part, she is not always on time, and most of the time, I do not want her to come at all. I hate it when Delilah shows up unexpectedly because I have to clean her. I have to make sure her room is clean. I have to make sure that I have everything that she needs. I have to feed her. All of this takes into account, and I have to get mentally prepared for her. A couple of nights ago, Delilah woke me up out of my sleep. I immediately get up, go to the guest bathroom, and immediately my stomach starts to cramp. Harder and harder. It's hurting. So I had to pee and poo. So I'm on the commode for about 15 minutes. And I'm upset because Delilah messed up my good panties. So I'm like, fuck, man. I knew she was on her way to town, but damn, she surprises me tonight. My stomach is hurting. So I'm hunched over. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this pain. So 15 minutes pass. I clean myself. I try to salvage my panties. And immediately I go to the kitchen. I open the pantry. I'm trying to find drugs. And when I say drugs, I mean ibuprofen. I'm searching. I'm like, where the hell is that ibuprofen? So I find it. I grab a mug, fill it with water. I'm tossing those things down my throat, chugging them. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll be okay. The pain is only going to hurt for a little while longer. So I go back to bed. I'm laying in bed. I cannot get comfortable. My stomach is tossing and turning, it's tumbling. Oh my gosh, I just could not get comfortable for anything. I could not fall back asleep. And I am laying in bed. I'm like, okay, this pain will subside. It will go away. It takes at least 20 minutes to kick in. I'm telling myself this because I'm like, okay, I need to get to bed because I need to wake up in a couple of hours. I could not get comfortable. I could not fall back asleep. I honestly felt like my body was telling me that these drugs need to come out of my system. And side note, I was telling my man this story, and he just gets on my nerves sometimes because he's like, so let me just continue with the story. So I'm like, these drugs need to come out of my body. They need to come out of my system. It's not agreeing with my body. However, I am fighting it because, like I said, I'm like, okay, it's going to take a while to kick in. And I don't want to pee and poo it out. And I'm telling my man this story, and he's like, it wouldn't come out that fast, and you know, it's not going to come out that fast. And I'm like, well, I thought it would, so it had to come out of me. I could not hold it any longer, y'all. I could not hold it any longer. I get up, go to the restroom for round 2. My stomach is still cramping. Still cramping. This time, I said to myself, man, I knew I should stick to my original organic medicine. I knew I should have. I shouldn't have messed with those ibuprofen. I would have been back in bed by now. Sleep. After I get off the commode, I am searching for a roach that my man was enjoying before he went to sleep. I'm searching for it. I'm like, where the hell is that roach? I finally find it. However, I could not find a lighter. I'm like, come on. And lighters are scarce around this place. I'm like, oh my gosh. I usually have to hide them because, excuse me. I usually have to hide them because my man goes through lighters like no other, like they're candy. I'm like, baby, what happened to the lighter the other day that I just bought? I don't know. And then like months later, we'll find it somewhere random as heck. So lighters are scarce. So I'm like, how am I going to light this roach? And I didn't want to turn on the stove eye. The stove eye? Yeah, I didn't want to turn on the stove. I didn't want to turn on the eye because it's loud when you first click it on, and I didn't want my man to wake up. And so I'm like, okay, how am I do this? How am I do this? So I grab a paper towel. I twist it up, twist it up, twist it up. I have a wood-burning stove. So I open the door, and I get the paper towel and a couple of embers, and I'm like, you know, trying to get that spark going. And while I'm doing that, the roach falls in the ash. And for a moment, I could not find it. I could not find it. I'm like, it's dark. I'm like miserable right now. I'm like, where the hell did that roach go? Good night. So I'm steady like looking for it. I'm like, okay. So I finally find it. It has ash all over it. So I'm like trying to blow the ash off as much as I could. And then so, of course, I take the paper towel, I put it to the roach, I inhale. Immediately, I started to feel great, feel good. I take a few more medicinal cannabis inhalation smokes because I just immediately start to feel amazing. And this is usually my normal routine when Delilah comes to town. Immediately, I'm inhaling cannabis because that pain immediately subsides for me. And I start to feel like, okay, the pain, there's no more. I can relax. I can go about my day. I'm feeling okay. I can go back to sleep. So I'm enjoying myself. I'm indulging. And then so I didn't want to go straight back to bed just yet. I wanted to see how I would feel. And mind you, I have to get up to go to work in a couple of hours. So my alarm is set. So I'm laying on the couch for a little bit. I'm right by the wood-burning stove, so that heat is just feeling amazing. And I put over just a throw. I throw a throw blanket over me. You know, I cover my head because the light is starting to shine from the sun. So I'm like, okay, let me just put this down a little bit. Let me just get relaxed a little bit. I'm feeling good at this point, right? And so I'm like, okay, a few minutes pass. I'm like, okay, oh, I'm good. I'm good to go back to bed. Okay, I got at least an hour and a half. I got at least an hour and a half. Let me go to bed. You know, get comfortable. Oh, I go to that bed. I get too comfortable. Too comfortable, okay? I'm out. Lights out. I am done. My alarm does go off. However, I hit snooze. I have a problem with that snooze button. I hit snooze about 3-4 times before I actually get out of bed. So I hit snooze twice. I don't know what happened that last snooze. I must have hit dismissed because I didn't wake up until we got a phone call to the house. I'm like, who is calling us, this early? This is what I'm saying. I have an attitude. I'm like, who's calling us? I look at my phone. It's 7:55. It's 7:55. I have to leave the house at 8 o'clock to get to work. I'm like, oh shit. So I pop up out of bed. I pop up out of bed. Immediately, I'm like, okay, let me just get going as quick as I can. Hop my ass in the shower, try to, double time everything, texting my boss, oh, I'm just now waking up, I'm gonna be 30 minutes late. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So it's like knocked me all the way out. And on my way to work, while I was running late, I was like, man, that Phantom cookie was on point. It had me feeling amazing. Phantom cookie, that's an amazing strain right there. And who's to say that cannabis isn't medicinal? Please. Knock it out. Knock it off. Chill. So that's pretty much the moral of my story, because cannabis is healing. Cannabis is medicinal. It helps in multiple ways, many ways. You see people are moving to families are moving to Colorado, moving to states where it's legal for their children. You know what I'm saying? Because their children take cannabis in many forms to help with many different ailments and different things. So it does help. And I just don't like when people have this outlook on cannabis as if it's so detrimental and so evil and so harsh and just so irresponsible, and just the stigma that's placed on cannabis, it annoys the hell out of me. And people just honestly need to open their eyes and open their hearts and open their outlook and have a different perspective as to, yes, cannabis can be used to heal, to help, to enjoy. Absolutely. So that's just the more my story. I won't get all into it because I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about this topic, because I am an advocate for cannabis. I can say that. And like I said, I'll stop there because I could go on and on and on and on for days. Maybe that'll be another segment of this, and I'll probably get my man into it because he gets really deep into it. But I'll let it go right there. Just let you know, those Phantom cookies help me with Delilah, help me with those cramps. So if you are suffering from fatigue, those cramps that you get from when Delilah's in town, just that feeling all around that women get when Delilah's in town, I'm telling you, cannabis will relieve the pain. Cannabis will help you feel better. Instead of taking this Advil, ibuprofen, Tylenol, whatever else is out there that's synthetic. You don't want it in your system anyway. So that was just a little quick story I had. I just felt like I had to share it because it helps me. Cannabis helps me in many ways, but that's just one of them. Like I said, click subscribe. I am so sick and tired of telling y'all to subscribe. Y'all don't listen to me. Why don't y'all listen? Just go ahead and click subscribe. There's no harm in doing so. Go ahead and click subscribe. I'll give you a break, but click subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.